Broadcasting from the home of the Piedmont Healthcare Clock Tower Stage, it's WAME Statesville.
Welcome to Racing Roots with Hamm.
If you don't know our host, David Hamm, he's a 25-year NASCAR veteran, engine builder, and jackman.
Live every Monday evening, we have a new guest
From the racing world with their stories, their paths,
Their
racing
racing
roots. Now here's our host, David Hamm.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Racing Roots with Hamm. And we got our young Bryson in here with us as well. Bryson, do you have another birthday yet?
I'm sorry. No, not yet.
You didn't
I'll
turn
have one in
18?
August, yeah.
17.
17. Well, I'm 17 now. I'll
Okay.
turn 18.
You'll be 18 when?
August.
In August,
So we got
okay.
a little bit of time, yeah.
Okay. And last but not least, I have my lovely wife, Traci.
Last but not least.
Yes, of course. I should have introduced you before, Bryson, but
Yeah, it's okay.
I had Bryson on my mind because we haven't seen him in a while, and I see you every day.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord have mercy, bless my heart and
Yeah.
my soul.
Man, could be worse. Could be me.
Well, you're looking fine this evening. It could be worse. It could be me. Yes. So you're smiling. I like that.
Yeah,
That's the first smile I've seen from you today.
that's right. I'm a little tired or something.
Oh, yeah? You not
Yeah.
sleep good last night?
I actually slept.
Oh, good.
I've actually slept for the past 3 nights.
Very nice. There's been times where I'll ask her, how'd you sleep last night? Well, I didn't go to sleep till 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, that's rough.
Like,
That
how?
is rough.
That is bad.
That's like you last night. Or this morning.
Well, honestly, it wasn't that bad, really. But the rain helped us get out of there pretty quick. So, but I have done that. And that's not fun.
Good.
So,
Yeah. Well, no, I said good. I mean, I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Last night I was thinking about that. I was texting you, and you was like, I was talking about the show tonight. And
Yeah.
you said, "Oh, I'm at the racetrack. I'm in Atlanta."
yeah,
And I was thinking about, oh, the rain's coming. Did you get wet?
a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
not soaked. You know, I was with my buddy Braden, and we sort of decided, you know, because they announced that it was kind of coming. They threw the radar up there, and you could see it, and we saw it on our phone. So everybody was kind of expecting it, and it said on the phone, when you look on your phone, it said 11 o'clock, right? So we were thinking, well, we might get the race in. You know, we had like 100 laps to go when we started getting like worried about it, and so. You know, a wreck happened. I can't remember. I think it was like in turn 4 or something. But it was like taking them forever to clean this up. And I'm thinking they're like really dragging on here. Like they're trying to make a decision. I felt like, and so it wasn't long after that, during that caution, we started feeling a raindrop. And I said, man, we're probably going to need to, because we had a pretty good. We parked close to the main road, so we didn't have trouble getting out. But we had a good walk from the racetrack, right? So. We said, yeah, when it starts, you know, kind of drizzling, we probably need to go, because it wasn't supposed to stop till like 1 o'clock in the morning or something. So we headed on out, and we got about halfway through the parking lot. We started seeing fireworks, and they called the race. So
Ooh, good call.
Yeah, we made a good decision there, but we didn't really get wet. You know, it kind of started raining. Really started pouring right after we got on the highway, which was good.
Okay, so what you just told me was that they called the race intentionally to let William Byron win.
I don't know about that. Now, I will say a lot of you crazy Ford people. No, I'm
Yes.
just kidding. But a lot of you, I mean, the Fords were really good, so it was kind of weird. I was expecting. I told him before the race, my buddy, I said, "Man, it's going to be a Ford winning race." They were fast all weekend, but you know, it's one of them things. William Byron has had a good season. I hate to say somebody like lucked into a win. But he did have like 70 laps to go, so
Oh, yeah.
it would have been a lot different. And the race was phenomenal. So I really wish we could have saw the end of the race.
Right, yeah. I don't believe he would have won if it was come down to it. It would have been a Ford, most likely.
I think so, and I think the manufacturers had a little bit of trouble getting together. But when a couple of them did link, when anybody linked, it was kind of you know, the old school style of, if you push me, you know, we're going to get out in front, regardless of, you know, who's behind you. So I don't know. It was really cool. I think the race was really good, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I felt like the intensity was there the entire race. Like every lap felt like you were in the final stage, because nobody knew when the rain was going to come, and we knew that it was probably going to end. So I think people were just the guys were up on the wheel racing hard the whole time.
So that was his fourth win of the season, right?
Yeah.
Yep. His let's see, his sixth. See, that's a hard word to say.
Yeah.
Sixth.
That's his sixth season in NASCAR.
Maybe once you
With
finish.
Hendrick Motorsport.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe not.
Maybe once he finishes.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, I know, right? I posted on there just to tell everybody, hey, we're coming on as soon as this song finishes.
I love finishing a song,
Yeah,
right?
I didn't have my glasses on, so and I was in a hurry. You know,
Yeah.
down to the wire, the last 20 seconds I had
Well,
to
see, that's why
Right.
you
do
have me
something.
here. You didn't need to do it. I had already posted on there.
my spell correct. Oh, you did? Why didn't you tell
Yes.
me? See, that I
Because
would
I
have
didn't
known.
know you did it.
Okay. Well, now I know.
The checkered flag was waving, and you were not leading the race.
That's
sorry.
right.
Say that.
He
Checked
wasn't
out.
paying attention.
I got the black flag
Yeah.
or the red flag to stop. Hey, so that was his 8th career. He's got 8 career wins.
Yep.
And his first win was in Daytona in August of 2020. And he was the Rookie of the Year Cup Series in 2018 and had twins. Why did I put had twins as a rookie in the Xfinity Series? Oh, 4 wins.
4 wins. I was gonna
Okay,
say, he
my
doesn't
bad.
have any. He doesn't have
That
twins.
don't make sense. Yes. All right. It's a 4.
funny.
I
Bad when you
knew.
can't read
Yeah.
your own writing.
I knew I was going to mess myself up with that
It's okay.
4 that looks like a T somehow. 4 wins as a rookie in the Xfinity Series 2017 en route to his championship, and had 7 wins in NASCAR Truck Series, but he added another April of 2022 at Martinsville. Is that when we went
No,
Okay.
that wouldn't be the one. We were there.
in the fall?
Yeah, was it 2021? I think. Yeah, you were because you were up on the sky deck. That was the year that Alex Bowman won.
Bowman won. Okay.
Yeah, Alex Bowman won. Him and Denny Hamlin got into it on the front stretch, and the guy behind me threw the beer and hit his car.
Yes.
that was cool.
Yes, that's it.
Dargan says in the early 60s, the majority of the Atlanta races were rained out.
Oh my gosh, in the 60s. Okay. It seemed like that carried on into the 90s too for us, but they weren't really rained out, but we got a lot of rain down there.
I told my friend, I said, man, I don't know if this is just me, and it definitely is because this happens all the time. But when I was a kid watching races, I never felt like they were rained out. I always felt like we watched the race, whether I was there or not. Now I feel like they're rained out all the time. You know,
Bring the rain with
Well,
you.
I know
huh?
everywhere I go, I feel like it's more frequent. But I think that it's just part of it. We're in that time of year where it's hot and muggy, and a thunderstorm can just come up anytime.
Yep.
So-
And being at the racetrack when it's raining is kind of a miserable thing.
It is.
Especially when let's just say you're on a team and then you get there at 7:00 in the morning and you already know it's going to rain all day.
Yeah,
It is so miserable.
So that's the thing. Like I've experienced that as a fan, but as a team member, as a fan, you don't get there at 7 a.m. You know, and it's uncomfortable. Like for example, 2020. No, I guess it was September of 2019. Dad and I went to the Southern 500 in Darlington. The race was scheduled to start at like 5 or 6, regular time in the evening. I think we threw the green flag at 9:30 or 10 that night. For the first lap of the race. So the race was over by 2 a.m. The racetrack was green. It wasn't an exciting race. Didn't really stand out. It was fun. Anytime you're at the racetrack, you're having fun. But that couple of hours where we sat under the grandstands and just, everybody that's there in the place is down there. It's a miserable feeling when it's raining at the racetrack. Nobody wants rain at the racetrack. you know?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So what was your the most fun you had? All right. I'm not looking at the questions yet, but what
That's
was
okay.
the biggest thing that you glad happened while you were there at the race that you got to see or that you got to experience?
Well, honestly, I think I've never seen a plate race before, and I've never seen the pack racing. And I think, I think it's different still than a regular plate race. But I think I went to Atlanta in 2021, saw the not the last, but the second to last, I guess, race on the old pavement that was paved in 1997 when they first reconfigured it to make it add the dog leg on the front stretch, what was the back stretch of the oval, right? That was cool because it was a cool race in 2021. The pavement was old and guys were sliding around and they were fast then. But to see a speedway, mile and a half cookie cutter racetrack with that degree of banking. I mean, it's the most banked mile and a half, I believe. And just to see what it looked like now and how they've changed it, I think that was probably the coolest part. Like whenever we go to a race with my buddies or whoever, you kind of always, no matter where you're sitting at or whatever, you walk through the gate and we always shoot for whatever entrance is right in front of us, and you just go out there and you kind of take that first look of the racetrack.
Right.
There's nothing more beautiful, I think, than the first look at the racetrack when you get there and you just walk out there and you see the whole thing.
Yeah.
To me, that's one of the coolest feelings in the world. But I think that, honestly, and the racing was really good, and just, feeling the cars go by and just, you can feel that, right? So when they're all packed together like that. So that was probably just seeing the new part, seeing the new deal.
Atlanta's always been, to me, a very fast track. I mean, like whenever our pits always seem to be kind of close to to the racetrack surface when we're pitting in there, so you could always tell which drivers had the most guts, I guess, to put it nicely, and the ones that could really go fast and run up front. Yeah, because you're fast there.
Did you ever go to a race there? I know they repaved it in '97. Did you ever go when it was the oval, like the before the dog leg and everything?
The old configuration.
Yeah, where it was just like the Dover shape, like just front straightaway, turns, back straightaway, turns.
My first time in Atlanta would have been in '95.
Yeah, so I guess you would have been. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's cool because we were talking to this guy, and the backstretch now is what was the front stretch. You know, kind of the Darlington thing. Mm-hmm. But it's the same shape back there, kind of. But you come to the front stretch, you have the Speedway Motorsports signature dog leg. So
yeah.
But it's a really cool place. I think Dale Jr. said it on the broadcast that this is one of the coolest things that he's seen, and he said he was fearful that we might lose Atlanta because, you know, if you look at Atlanta a couple of years ago, just for the regular racing that we had, they were not selling a lot of tickets. You know, there wasn't a lot of popularity. And he said, I used to tell people to go to the Bristol night race. He said, now this might be the race I tell people to go to because it was just that cool of an event, and the crowd was huge. And I feel like we had a lot of new race fans that probably were there too. So it was just a really cool event. Yeah.
Bryson, Dickey says he's got 2 tickets to the next XRX Series race. Would you like to go?
Sure, absolutely. Where's it at?
Where's it at, Dickey?
Yeah, tell me where it's at. I know they're racing this week somewhere. I think that starts this week on ESPN, which is really cool. Racing back on ESPN with Alan Bestwick. So I don't know. He better be careful. Yeah. He better be careful since Alan Bestwick's going to be there.
Well, if you go to the race and you see Alan Bestwick, you can tell him where you got the tickets.
Yeah, there you go. You remember that guy that you talked about on the air, climbing the fence?
That's right.
That's how I'm here, buddy. I'm just kidding. Yeah. But really, that's really cool. The SRX is a really cool thing too. So
I want to say hey to Dr. Pepper 76. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Like Dr. Pepper.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, I thought that's what maybe you were going to say that, and I beat you to it.
But I did notice on YouTube that there's emojis on here.
Okay.
So
I see
I don't
that
know
too.
if y'all can see the emojis when I click it, but
yeah, kind of like Facebook likes.
yeah, look, I can see it on your screen.
Yeah.
Look.
I just
watch
did
your
one.
screen.
All right.
Watch your screen.
Okay.
To the left.
Oh, okay, over here. Well, that's
see
right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that?
You can see it coming up.
If y'all were wondering what she's talking about, and you're listening on the radio, we are also on YouTube, and we're on.
Somebody else is doing something.
Hold on now. We're on YouTube. We're on DHammiam, and if you want to see us here live in the Randy Marion studio, you can just go to the YouTube channel DHammiam, or type in Racing Roots, and it'll take you there. So that's it. And if you like this video, hit that like.
And hit some emojis so I can see them pop up.
And now we have emojis. Yeah, what we're explaining was it's kind of like now you have a heart, you have a smiley face, you have one of those whenever your happy birthday, whatever, blows confetti, and then you have a wow, and
there's a bunch of them
100%.
going, but I can't see what it is. Can we see on yours?
Sure, right over here maybe.
No.
All right. But anyway, this is live radio, by the way.
It is.
And if we can go to the Chicago race, the Shane Van
Gisbergen. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I should know these words because that comes from my homeland.
I was going to say, he's Australian.
Yeah, Australian.
You might have been shipped over with him. You don't know.
Or New Zealand, which is right next to Australia. For those of you who are geology driven, struggle. I'm just kidding. I said that on purpose.
I was going to say.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say geological. That's not right either. You said geology, and then I was thinking geographical.
Geographical's challenged. Yes. So he won at Chicago. He kind of all right. So here's the deal with that. I think is that this is the first time that the rest of the NASCAR boys have raced on that Chicago track. They don't have they have no notes and whatever.
Yeah.
But of course he's better too because he's used to racing that type of racing. Yeah. In other words. So
yeah, I think it was cool to have somebody new on a new race we've never done. It's the first time it happened since 1960. Was it 1961? I think the last time somebody won a NASCAR race in their debut.
Yeah, it was like 60 years ago.
Yeah.
It was Johnny Rutherford.
There you go. So that was
driver.
Cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was cool just to have somebody, and then you have a new audience that's there at the track. I didn't think I was going to like it at first. I thought it was a dumb idea. I thought we're NASCAR. We need to be at North Wilkesboro, Hickory, and the Nashville Fairgrounds. Why are we going to the roads of Chicago? Mm-hmm. But when I watched it, after seeing that, I'm like, man, this is a really cool event. So I think they did a good job with it, and I think it's cool that somebody new won too. I think, and a lot of drivers were giving him a lot of credit for his talent too.
I do too, and he made a lot of new race fans.
I think so.
You that.
Yep.
Hey there, who we got on the line with us?
Hey, it's Stoney Ballard.
Hey there, Stoney Ballard. Good buddy, how you doing?
Hey, fine, man. How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing just fine. Just what, Traci?
Turn mine down.
Okay.
It's like blaring in my
My
ear.
wife. It's just this is
Oh,
live
well,
radio.
I'm always blaring in somebody's ear. Sorry about that, Tracy.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna go turn the volume down so you don't blow out her ears.
Yeah. Whoever sits in this chair plays it really loud.
Okay.
There we go.
All right, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, so what's going on there, Stoney? Hey, you got any good stories to tell us from Atlanta?
Oh, which one do you want to know from Atlanta?
There's something about a camper or something.
Oh, that's when, that's when me, Clint, Joey, and Danny, and all the family went down there. We was filling in for Bill Elliott's crew because we were the filling crew, and Joey and Clint, sorry about that, Joey. I got to tell on you because you told on me. And my brother Clint, they went out and they took the camper out to go bar hopping.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so it didn't work out too well for them because back in the day, when everybody in Atlanta was so busy that they would put the bar drops across the parking lots so you couldn't drive a big motor coach in through there. Well, Clinton, Joey decided that they were going to take it out and they were going to drive it through, and they ripped the whole AC system off of it. So that was the day before that we actually won the Atlanta Journal 500 with Bill Elliott. So
that's the picture I've seen with y'all, all four in the picture, in the course.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's with me, Freddie Wilson, Clint, and Joey, and everyone like that. Freddie Wilson, I'd love to get in touch with that cat again because he was a heck of a jack man. I know you're an awesome jack man, but that cat filled in, like nobody else did. We all filled in because, he was missing half of his crew members. And so we did our job, and we all grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
So, growing up together, it's like a Sandlot. As fast as you can throw that ball, it doesn't matter who you're throwing it to. Everybody knew their place, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we did that on pit road. And everybody worked together, and we actually won the race. We built Dale Earnhardt won the championship that year, but we won the race. He came over and congratulated us, and that's some of the structure that we had to grow up with.
Yeah. How did it come about that y'all ended up with pitting that car?
Excuse me?
How did it come about that you ended up pitting that car that day?
That was when, actually, I'm going to have to let you talk to Joey about that, but we were filling in for other brothers of ours that got hurt out at Riverside.
Okay.
Half of Bill Elliott's crew, was taken out because of a pit road accident.
Oh, was that 92?
Yep, and no, that was 80. That was 89, I think.
Oh, it was a different one then, but not the Mike Rich.
Yeah. So no, it was a different scenario then. And when I got hit on pit road by Davey Allison, that's when they started considering doing the pit road speed.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Davey hit me, he came in so hard it was like 90 miles an hour, and his brakes equalized, and he couldn't stop in time. So he hit me, and the tires started flying out of my hands. But we still did a 26-second pit stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's a lot. I appreciate a lot of things that NASCAR has done for the safety of this sport. And, a lot of things that, people don't realize today that, I've already been through it. I went through it, and it's like, let NASCAR do its thing. But some of the things, I got to be like Bryson, it's like, okay, well, I need to feather off of this a little bit.
Yeah, right, sure. Hey, so I do have a question about that. Whenever I was the jack man, we had a pit road speed limit, and I could jump off the wall 2 stalls away, right? What was it whenever you didn't have a speed limit? How did you know when you could jump off the wall?
No, it's when you got triggered onto your white line that when your car got into your pit stall, that's when you get to go.
Oh.
It wasn't two stalls before, 2 stalls or, whatever, spinning around backwards. I hate to say it, Ricky Rudd was good about that. But because he would spin around in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that's what
happened.
Yeah.
No, it's like when you got into your stall, that was your go time.
Okay.
And like I've shoot, I don't even want to. I hate bragging on myself.
No, you go for it. We like to hear the stories because it's you and your brothers, and y'all are awesome. And just like in the movie, well, the movie Six Pack, we'll talk about that. But yeah, that's great stuff. James S. was saying that that Ballard gang has more stories than someone can absorb. Yeah, for sure.
Well, tell him I love him to death, and my heart is pounding for him. It's like, no, we do.
Yes.
It's like, there's no replacement for displacement. That's when you're talking about a small block to a big block.
Yeah. Right.
And in my life, there is no replacement for displacement. I would not give my life. My life was very hard growing up, very, very hard.
Sure.
And I would not replace it for anything in the world. And I'm a high school teacher now, and I get to teach students not how to do this, but how to work on something. And if they don't want to go to college or anything like that, I can teach them how to make their life so much better and comfortable. And I just love what I'm doing. I work at Parish Community High School down here in Florida. And, it's like I can't sell this, but I can give it away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
is that the part you were going to brag to us about?
What's that?
Go ahead. You said you don't like to brag on yourself, but I said go ahead.
No, I'm not bragging on myself. It's like,
Yeah.
I do an awesome job at what I do. I work great with students, female or male. I get 220 new students each year. I'm the only person. I get 7 classes a day. And, yeah, I'm wiped out by the time I get home.
Sure.
But, when I get to see, like, over the summertime, because we're off for 2 months, and all I do is visit my students when they're working in the automotive field that they want to work at. I got one of my students, he's a crash repair guy for Munster Jam right now. And I'm proud of him, and he's doing great. He's only 18 years old, and he makes twice the money that I make. Mm-hmm. And I went to Gettle of Gettle Automotive Group, that they sponsor my program, and I got to meet not only 2 of my students, but 4 of my students that are loving their job, and they're supporting their family. They're moving out. They're doing their own thing. And I was like, these kids are only 18 years old or under. Because, Gettle has been doing this experimental program with me that they hired them at 16 years old. And these guys are rocking it. And I'm like, I cannot believe that I taught you so much within, 2 to 3 years that you are up to this level that I need to go work for you. So, that's real impressive to me that, at least that we can pass on lineage and knowledge to another student. But then when you sit back and talk, like me and you do, we talk about, old stories about Curtis Turner, Smokey Unick, Jim Vandiver, Walter Ballard, Cuckoo Marlin, David Pearson, Pete Hamilton, the people that we grew up with, and they have no idea how we got there. And I was like, okay, well, this is your lineage that you need to make your own name now. And now they're
Stoney's kids are all going to make a name for themselves. They're doing great. You're a good influence on them.
No, and it's like, if I wasn't doing that, I wouldn't be doing my job. And my job is not to, I'm not getting paid to do that job. That job is what my dad taught me how to do, Walter.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sometimes, we'd be coming back from, back from Riverside, California, and we would stay at Circus with Mel Larson. He would provide everything for us. And us and Frank Warren, Frank was a trip. I'll tell you stories about him later.
So you're talking about staying in Vegas, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Frank Warren, number 74. And but we would come back home, and Dad would find. I don't know how he would find them. Well, he would find them because, we were driving a motorhome back with the motor coach and everything like that. And there would be a family walking beside the road, and Dad would pick them up and say, let's get them up, let's feed them, let's get them something to eat, and everything like that. And say, hey, do you want a job? Dad would hire them. Because, we were all young. Dad wanted somebody with more meat, the same way with, Jeff Hammond and everybody like that, when Dad hired Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
And, they would start, we would have a conversation. And Dad would excel them to the next level that, from being homeless to that, I've got you a job, I've got you a purpose, and then they would leave. Eddie Jones was the same way. And Dad would just excel everybody. He had that personality that, I love my dad to death.
Yeah.
But he was the hardest man to ever work with. But he would excel you to where he thought you needed to be. And that's what I love about Dad.
So to our listeners, if they don't know who your dad is, it was Walter Ballard. He was the 1971 Rookie of the Year, NASCAR Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
What year did he quit racing?
He actually quit racing in 1976.
Okay.
And when he quit racing, that's when Earnhardt actually got his second ride, because he did his first ride with Edna Green, number 8 car. Mm-hmm. And that was in 1975, 1976. Earnhardt won the championship out at Concord Motor Speedway, and then rented our car at $5,000. Back then you could rent a car for that cheap.
Okay.
Now nowadays it's like you can't even touch a car like that for over under $1 million.
Right.
But I remember when Earnhardt got into our car, it was the number 30 Army car. He actually tore 3 transmissions out taking off a pit road.
Hold on. I have a write-up in one of the, I think, a magazine from Charlotte. It says he's in the Army now, and it shows the Army car, 1970 something. I'll have to find that. I'll have to dig it out. It's in one of the old souvenir programs that I have.
Oh, really?
Yep, that I have in my collection of about 70. Well, I have from the 70s and the 80s, I have 70-something of those. Anyway. We'll get back to
that's cool. You got to send me a picture of that.
I'll do that. All right, so go ahead. He tore out the transmission.
Oh, no, he only tore the transmission out because, Earnhardt got off of dirt track racing. Yeah, so dirt track and asphalt are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't realize that you can go faster on dirt than you can on asphalt. You know, I got to give a whoop to all my dirt track guys out there. But once that track lays in, it's more aggressive than asphalt. So what Earnhardt would do when he'd come in, we'd do a tire pressure check and everything like that. He was sitting there and slam it like he was on dirt because he wasn't on the track. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it was all dusty right then. So then he would strip the gears out, and every time he would go into the turn one at Charlotte Motor Speedway, he would try to cock the car sideways. He would try to throw it, sling it sideways. It's muscle memory,
like you do on a dirt.
so to speak.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad told Earnhardt, he said, son, if you don't slow down, he said, you're never going to make a race car driver.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, after he won his first championship, because Dale did learn, and Richard Childress picked him up, that was a good prospect for Richard. And because Dad and Richard and James Hilton, they were all great friends and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when Richard picked him up, he remembered all those things that my dad said. It's like, this is a growing up process. So after he won his first championship, he came by to our shop, and he said, "Hey, Walter," he said, "You ever think I'm going to be a race car driver yet?" And he brought that trophy with him, and he stuck it on Dad's desk, and he said, "Nah, I think you got a little bit more in you than that." And that, excuse my language, but that torqued him off. I ain't going to say pissed him off. That torqued him off. So after, small story short, after the seventh time that he won, that he met Richard Petty's, championships,
mm-hmm.
and he said, "Hey, Walter, you think I got this now?" And he brought this big trophy in there and laid it on Dad's desk. He said, "No, I think you got one more in you."
Oh.
And unfortunately, that's when he passed away.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, but I'll never forget that. But he was one of the nicest guys that you would ever meet. And my dad was relentless on making you the best that you could ever be. So I love my dad. I love Dale Earnhardt, and it's like, man, when I grew up, I'm going to have to write a book. I'm going to have to be like Will Cronkite.
Oh, yeah. You need to write a book when you grow up.
Yeah, no, I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead, Tracy. You got some comments coming in, if you like. Sorry.
I hate it when you do that.
Oh, I've already asked you if you're going to read the comments. And she
So
Oh,
James-
anybody want to ask me a question?
James says, think how many kids have had success because of Stoney, and he took it from his pop. That's great.
And then
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
and Dr. Pepper, 76.
He says, as old school as I am, I agree with Stoney that NASCAR has improved with safety.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that, because, we came from back in the day of buckling your door handles with your seat belt or, your belt. And actually, Danny, my younger brother, he still has Junior Johnson's first racing seat that he, when they designed duct tape, he still has that seat.
That's cool.
The seat.
Yeah, the seat that he actually had in that
Okay.
old Chevy or something like that.
Yeah, the white number 3.
Yeah, Danny, you met Daniel before, haven't you?
Yeah.
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 So he still has that seat.
Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't get rid of anything. Trust me, he's a hoarder.
Yeah. So that thing probably had to use a lap belt, right? Old lap belt.
Yeah,
And duct tape all over
exactly.
it. Okay. I see.
Yeah. Oh man. So I got to tell you that Dad used to have this 65 GT 350, and when it came off of the line,
Mm-hmm.
and a friend of mine, Ruben Benalis, if I can give a shout out to him, I don't mind, and I hope he doesn't mind either. But he bought the car, and he actually has the first drag car that Dad ever ran. It was a 65 GT 350. He bought it from, Dad bought it from Republic Ford of Texas. But, and like now he's actually sporting it. Thing is, it's pretty well meant.
So he get in touch with you and tell you about this? About
Yes.
having it? Okay.
Yeah, I can actually send you photos of it. He's actually got Dad's names on the side of it,
Mm-hmm.
and who all's owned it, and he's the third owner.
Okay.
Yeah, so, the thing will still pull the front wheels off of the ground.
How about that?
Yeah.
So what does your dad think about that?
I don't know. I'm trying to get a hold of Dad.
I got you. Okay. Still haven't got
Yeah,
it yet.
so,
okay.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Dad in probably about 2 months. He's down in Georgia, spending time with, his cousins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So trying to get him back up there. You're going to be up there for September for the reunion?
Yeah, the Moonshiners and Racers reunion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, September the 9th. Right.
Yeah.
And then because we have the dinner the night before. And then,
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the dinner is it the 8th? And then the event is the 9th.
Yeah,
that
I
right,
need
Tracy?
to promote that, because
For sure.
I've already
is that right?
I've already talked to
All right.
yeah, I've already got that settled in, so I can come up there and see you guys. Man, I miss you guys so much.
Yeah, man, it'd be great to see you. Okay, so
Man,
it's 8th and 9th. Yes, the dinner is the 8th, and then the event's the 9th, Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds cool because I got to set my flights up. I haven't had found anybody that's going to promote my my flight time or anything like that. So I'm going to figure out how I can thumb it all the way up there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just kidding.
Well, there's several hotel choices up there. I stayed. We stayed last time. It was a Saturday evening. I guess we stayed. But hindsight,
Yeah.
we could have stayed Friday and just work our back home, and then we.
Yeah. No. So I already talked to Clint and Clint and Christine. So they've already got the hotel room set up for us. And it's like one of these fly by night hotels. It doesn't matter. If I got someplace to lay my head, it's like when we were growing up, when Dad won that 1971, Ford station wagon. We all had our own little place to sleep because we were traveling from town to town and town.
Mm-hmm.
And mine was always over the transmission hump, right there behind the driver's seat.
Oh my gosh.
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
That's the best sleep that I can ever get in my life, and I can't find it out. I can't find it again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a 1971 Ford, panel wagon. It's like it's not like bad as Family Reunion, with Chevy Chase and stuff like that, but
Mm-hmm.
but just that hum of that that C6 transmission, just that vibration is like, I go to sleep immediately.
Right. Yes. Kind of like the airplanes do me. As soon as I get on an airplane and I'm sitting near the engine, it's like, oh, I'm out. It's that hum.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It's just that vibration, the vibrato of it.
Yeah.
and it's like you're in a safe zone, and everything else is fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good stuff. Go find you one. Take your daily nap in that car. Right?
Oh, heck yeah. Hey, have y'all heard of anything from Dick or Joyce May or anything like that? Because I haven't heard from them in a while.
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we'll touch the base on that.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's good talking to you, buddy. And you got any more stories or anything you want to tell their friends? And we'll just...
I can keep you on the phone all night long.
I know. Yeah,
But just tell your beautiful wife I love her, and tell Bryson there he rocks, he rules,
You too,
and
buddy.
he keeps everybody in schools.
You too, buddy.
Oh yeah, how's
All right.
Stoney's kids? And yeah, how
I sure will, brother.
Yeah, tell Stoney's kids we said hello. Bryson said
Yeah.
hello.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I
be good.
sure will. Love you guys.
Love
Y'all
you,
be
brother.
careful.
All right, man. We'll talk to you
All right,
later.
bye.
Thanks, Stoney.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Have a good one.
All right, there's Stoney Ballard, and if you didn't know who Stoney Ballard was, he was if you've seen the movie Six Pack, you see all the kids that were with what's his name? Kenny Rogers. Yeah,
I couldn't think of
and
him.
yeah, sometimes
I could see him,
yeah, exactly,
up there with Dolly Parton and everything.
Yeah, so Kenny Rogers was a race car driver, and he had a local dirt tracks and whatever, short tracks and whatever. And Stoney's kids were his pit crew. And I said Stoney's kids. I meant Stoney and his brothers and his sister. They were the pit crew, just like he was with Walter's.
The Ballard
his
kids.
Dad. Yeah, the Ballard kids. And that's how they kind of got the idea for the movie, was following them around. And so, hey, we can make a movie out of this. And then it worked out just that way. But we were talking about the Moonshiners and Racers reunion, which is coming up in September the 8th and the 9th. It's actually the 9th. If y'all want to go to it, you plan on going up there to Mount Airy. And you can't miss where it is, because there'll be cars, old race cars parked out on the streets. You can just park anywhere around downtown and then walk up there to the cars. And then you'll see, we'll be sitting there. There's a lot of people, let's see, signing autographs.
Well, last year it was raining, so we had to stay under a tent, but I'm sure everybody will be kind of spread out this year if it doesn't rain.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, maybe they get a tent anyway because of,
Because of the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a big tent that'll be set up, and I'm pretty sure they have it set up anyway. And the people there are signing autographs. Let's see, Waddell Wilson. They had
Tons of people.
Will Cronkite, Cliff Champion, Bill Blair, of course,
David Hamm.
and Traci. Did you sign some autographs too?
Not this time.
Okay, next time you will.
I did at Stocks for Tots, but
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and then let's see, who else was there? That was Okay.
Bill Blair.
Yes, I was saying him. Ronnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds. Ronnie
Ronnie
Ricky
Thomas
Weeks.
was there.
Yeah.
Ronnie Thomas was
Ronnie
there.
Thomas, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Skip
Anyway,
Pollock.
Skip Pollock, yeah. But there's so many people there, it's just hard to even keep up with. Waddell Wilson, Wendell Scott, his son, and I don't know who the other guy was. There was two of them, but Wendell Scott's Jr., I guess it was. He was there signing as well. Oh, and Bobby Allison. And I think, Matt Dillard. You always say Dillard. Matthew Dillner.
Yeah, Matt Dillner.
Anyway, they were all there. Sorry for that, Traci. All right, so Bryson, back to the race. Okay, so we were talking about Shane Van
Gisbergen.
That guy. Those two, yes.
Yeah.
It
David's
sounds
gonna
more
have
like
to
a
practice
German.
that at home.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? It doesn't sound like, I don't know Australian names, but it does
Yeah.
kind of sound German.
Yeah, good day,
You
mate.
know,
That's
yeah.
all I know. I mean, my Aussie. So let's see, he's a New Zealander driver in the Supercar Championships.
Well, he's New Zealand. There you go.
He has 3 championships under his belt. He's got 80 wins and 46 poles. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But he's a pretty impressive guy. Obviously, he's the fourth most, and after all that, he's only the 4th most successful racing driver in the series history in the super championship. Supercars championship is what it is.
Yeah.
He became the first driver in modern era of NASCAR, since we talked about the IndyCar driver Johnny Rutherford earlier, 60 years previously, won in his debut race, the first New Zealander to win in any Cup Series. Now, could you name the Australian that won in the Cup Series?
What year was it?
I'll give you.
Know what year it was?
It was 2011. First Watkins Glen. I built his engine for that
so
race
he's driving
in 2012.
Marcus Ambrose.
That's right.
Is that it? Marcus Ambrose, really?
Yeah, that's it. You got
I
it.
remember him.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever happened to him, but I remember him.
Yeah, my old
driving
cousin.
a yellow and black car. Was it for Roush?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, my old cousin, Marcus.
He used to be really good at Watkins Glen. I remember
he
him
was.
being really good there.
He won a couple times in the Busch Series too, I believe it was, or whatever it's called then. So yeah.
There you go.
Did you get to see the beginning of the race where Richard Childress was in the 29 car?
I did.
Kind of marked Kevin Harvick winning his first race in that car at Atlanta.
Yeah, that was really cool because Richard gave the command too to start the engines. And then he was obviously in the 29 car, drove out there, and then Kevin pulled out. I don't know where Kevin qualified. I think he was towards the front, but either way, he pulled out of the pack, and they did a lap together. Oh, okay. Just the two of them. I got some pictures I'll have to show you.
That's cool.
But I was just thinking, man, like these are the moments, right? Like I feel like I'm witnessing some history.
Yeah.
So that was really, really cool and kind of a a cool moment to kind of. Kevin Harvick's third race, he won at Atlanta in what would have been, Dale Earnhardt's car with his crew, and it was a big win for the sport and everybody, and that was the same car. And so with it being his last race at Atlanta, it was kind of cool to see them close the chapter that way,
Yeah, for sure.
So it was really cool. And I think Stuart Haas really has done a good job at letting Kevin go back to some of his RCR days, and they've worked together to do some things to honor him together, which has been really cool too. So
yeah, for sure. Because as a car owner, they could be like, you know what? No, we're not supporting that because we got to think of our sponsors and this kind of stuff.
Well, that's the thing. It's so sponsorship driven now. Is like you have to think about that. Like that's a big deal. But they've been really. I think Kevin does the Hunt Brothers Pizza, and Bush is a big partner with him. So I think they've been really good to. As far as being lenient, and they let him drive the 29 car at Wilkesboro too, on his paint scheme. Bush did that with the same colors, so that was cool too. So I think they've done a really good job. They actually had some guys that they were skydivers, I guess, for like I don't know what their official what they'd be called. I guess skydivers. I don't know. They jumped out of an airplane, right? And they had the flags like connected to their
the harness or whatever.
The harness, yeah. And they were Kevin Harvick flags, and then kind of that was neat too. So they did a good job at honoring him.
Like they usually have an American flag.
Yeah,
they had a.
Well, I think they had one too behind
sure.
him. Yeah, but those was one of them. And Atlanta presented him with a big framed picture of that win and a piece of the asphalt and everything. So it was
very
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tracy got a comment.
Yeah, Andrew Hayes says one of the craziest finishes at Watkins Glen was when Marcos Ambrose won.
Yes, it was. I remember that. I was bouncing off the walls.
Was he racing Keselowski?
It was, racing there toward the very end of the race, and they were beating and banging side by side. It seemed like it might have been Keselowski.
I think Keselowski had a few times where he was at Watkins Glen. I think one was he spun Kyle Busch around, too. But I think the Ambrose one was another. I think that's the same one. Either way, if it's the one I'm thinking of, that was really good. That's a pretty historic race too, just as far as it being really exciting. But right until the last corner, they were door to door.
That's right.
So that was a big deal.
Yeah, Philip had made a comment about what it sounds like a road trip for us. DHammiam. How about the Allisons? Yeah, I think he's talking about the
I didn't
Mount
see
Airy.
that comment.
Yeah, I think he's talking about wanting to come down to the Mount Airy thing coming on September 8th and 9th. Or the 9th, you might as well say. The 8th is more of a dinner for the people that are participating. So it's the 9th is the big event.
Forget anything about the 8th.
Yeah, I keep saying that, but it's that's just what's programmed into my brain,
right?
Ingrained in my membrane. So the Fords that were strong there, of course, were Eric Almirola had the pole. That's correct, right? Okay, and then Blaney won at stage 1, and he that was really close to Larson. They were like battling there that's like 1,000th of a second.
Yeah,
that is how much he won by. And then the other Fords that were strong, Keselowski and Chris Buescher led quite a bit of there.
did.
I thought I was going to end up texting him saying, hey, you want to call in and talk about your win? That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Yeah. And Austin Cindric actually ran up
He
front.
can still call in.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's true. And then Blaney was up there. And I think Logano was sort of up front, but I don't know if he led anything.
Yeah, Logano was out front. He may have led a handful of laps, but you know when you're at a speedway like that where it's a plate race, you can kind of you might lead a lap, but that doesn't mean you're consistently in the front. You know, you might get a run off the corner and you led that lap. But,
All right, true.
But I think the Fords, when you look at the past races, I think Fords have ran really good here, but this weekend, I don't know what they've done, what kind of setups. I guess Roush did a really good job supplying some engines this weekend, but they did a really good job at, they were just fast. And when you look at qualifying, they qualified in the day, so the track's a little bit more slick than it was at night, but the Fords really looked like they weren't, I didn't see any of them really get loose. You know, when you're at these, you're hammered down the whole time. The last thing you want to have to do is, get loose, turn your wheel, right? You want to keep everything steady. And I think that's what put the Fords out front over the Chevrolets. There was a lot of Chevrolets that really got loose, just a slight bit, and you're taking tenths off of your lap. So I think that's the biggest thing. They handled really well. Their cars were handling good, and so put a lot of Fords out front. And they were able to, I think the Fords really held strong in traffic too. I mean, during the race, they were out front pretty much the whole race. You had a couple of Fords. J.J. Yaley with his guys, I thought they did a really good job. I think that's Rick Ware Racing. But they were a top 5 car towards the end of the race. I think they finished 7th. But that was really cool to see them have a good run too. So a lot of Fords doing really good. And then you got an old bow tie to come in there and mess things up for them.
Yeah, somehow won the race.
But I think that's cool too, because Byron did get spun after a pit cycle. He was towards the back and got spun.
He was a lap down.
And he was a lap down, got the lucky dog. And typically anywhere that happens, that's a very frustrating night. Harrison Burton had a really fast car, qualified top 5, and then wrecked out, and that was a tough break for him. But and I sort of thought the same thing would happen to Byron, but it was kind of cool to see them come back through the field too. And I guess they were probably the biggest movers. They would have had to be because they were a lap down. So, but a lot of guys moving. But the Fords definitely beat everybody out when it comes to what they brought off the truck.
Yeah, for sure. Typically, the Fords are going to run good at the tracks where you run faster.
Yeah,
usually that's kind of the way it works. We went so many years and struggled at tracks like Martinsville, somebody short in Bristol, and not as much Bristol. We actually won a good bit with Kansas and some of the Carl Edwards and those, but Martinsville always eluded us for years at the Ford camp.
Well, I feel the same way like for Chevrolet with like Richmond. I feel like Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota always shows up nowadays, and they bring the best equipment, I feel like. And I think the Fords do okay there, but I think there's certain tracks and areas, and Chevrolet actually has really been strong pretty much everywhere this year. But this weekend, I think, was one of the first you can kind of really say that, Ford beat out just about everybody. Yeah. So they did a really good job.
Let's see. So what did you think about the first night race on the new surface?
I think it was cool. I think every race from here on out should be at night at Atlanta now, because I think – I actually was with you when they had the first race. We watched it from the camper, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first race on the new Atlanta, and it was really cool. But I think the conditions are different, because in the daytime, especially in the middle of the summer, you've got this heat beating down on the racetrack. We talk about this at Hickory a lot too. Like when you've got the sun shining on the racetrack, there's not as much grip there. So at night, they're able to have a little bit more grip, and I think the guys were moving around a little bit more and able to kind of send their cars into the corner. You could see guys go into turn 3 and just absolutely throw their car down into the bottom of the racetrack in the corner and absolutely, get it to slide, and they weren't losing a lot of time doing that. So they're not slide; they were getting it to stick in the corner. So I think in the daytime you're going to be a little bit more cautious, because you're not going to have as much grip. And also, the track did change a little bit, because you're starting still in the daytime. It's not as the heat of the day. It's not, the middle of the afternoon, but it is, it was 7 o'clock. The sun was still out, so as it gets darker, it changes. So that adds some character, and I think the atmosphere was really cool with the race fans, everybody being there at night. I love a night race. We don't have that many night races anymore, so it makes that adds an extra element. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I think when we come back to Atlanta, which I think we'll continue to come back twice, I think they should run it at night.
I've been saying this for a while. They need to have the Saturday night races in a lot of places.
I think so too, especially your short tracks.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure. Traci, do you have another comment there?
Andrew says Atlanta is quickly becoming handling track. Reminds me a lot of the repaved bumpy Daytona.
The pre-repaved bumpy Daytona. Yep. Mm-hmm. There used to be the Humpty Dumpty. That was in Charlotte there. Humpty Dumpty bumpy corner over in turn 4.
Yeah.
That was always a bumpy area there in turn 4. Mm-hmm. So whenever I got tickets to go to Charlotte before I got into racing, well, no, it was while I was in racing, I actually got to sit over in turn 4 to see. That's kind of where the accidents used to happen.
Yeah.
Before they repaved it many, many years ago. Named after our good friend Humpty Wheeler. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So change gears a little bit here. Let's talk about what did you do for the 4th of July.
4th of July, 4th of July, I was on vacation. We went and did some hikes and stuff, and we really just kind of hung out and did the usual stuff, watched some fireworks, and just had a good time.
Yep.
So what'd you do for the 4th of July? Anything big? Did you grill out?
We grilled over at Chip Minnick's. Chip is a longtime Roush employee, and Tom Gant was the engine builder down at Roush. So we were over there with him and Dave Lyle, who's been on our show, and Chip's been in here as well. And we had food, we had jokes, and we had fireworks and lots of stories. So that was a good time. I actually told a couple of good jokes that I kept them right.
Didn't kill them.
Yeah,
that's
good.
Yeah.
You kept them going.
Yeah, he didn't kill the punchline.
So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I actually had 4 days off of work, which was very nice.
That's good.
Like a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so I was beside myself. We went and did a little metal detecting. Traci went out there with me too. Found some stuff. Yeah, in the yard. I mean, it's amazing what you can find in your own yard.
Right.
It's like, apparently many, many years ago, and probably late 1700s, it was they were planting cotton there.
Yeah.
And so I found an old plow. I found plow teeth, but I also found an old hoe, an old grubbing hoe.
Huh.
Yeah.
And you didn't even have to dig to find some old beer cans sitting on top.
Yeah, they were
Those weren't quite so deep, were they?
No, they were on top. They were a pile of top, and they were different cans. They weren't the same brand.
They were like
funny.
pull tab.
The pull tab.
Oh.
Type. So they've been there a long time.
Really?
Those
Yeah,
they've been
those
there
are.
since the 80s at least.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell you. Did I show you the other bullet I found? The musket.
Yeah.
The round. It's the round
cool
ball.
And so your yard has been a farm, a battlefield, and a site for somebody's drinking problem.
Oh yeah, apparently so.
And it's a deer hangout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good thing though.
Yeah, I got a deer cam. I put up my deer cam. It took me about 4 years, right? Tell the story.
Yeah, I got it for you for Christmas like 4 or 5 years ago, and it took him a year to get an SD card for it, and then it sat there for like 2 or 3 years.
Man, they
before
sell
he hung
those at
it.
Dollar General, man.
You know, and it
sell
wasn't
them
the
at the
hold
dollar
up.
store.
He had it.
The problem is, it's something that's a little bit different. So it's a deer cam. There's 3 settings. There's off, there's on, and then there's in the middle. It says aim. So it's like I had to take the time to research and figure out you got to format the card.
Yeah.
And put the card in, and then you got to hang it on the tree. So,
Right.
I hung it up
I
and
just throw that
immediately.
thing in the woods.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm probably not doing it right.
Yeah. Well, immediately we got pictures of deer.
Yeah.
So
Do you have the wireless thing, where you can look at it on your phone?
You know
No.
what?
Grandpa has one of those.
I
and
don't
it's
think
very.
that one's equipped to do that. It wasn't
It's
that
not.
Yeah.
expensive.
It's addicting. We first installed it, and I downloaded the app for him and got the got it all hooked up, and I set it to like take a picture like every like when there's deer, take it every 5 seconds or something. Instantly, his phone is blowing up, like exploding, and I'm thinking, wow, there's a lot of deer right there, and you're looking at the same deer, but because it was so set so quickly, and I didn't realize it until what I did, and I was like, man, and it took hundreds and hundreds of pictures, so now it's set to a little, that we stretched that out a little bit, but it's really cool. I mean, he can look on there anytime, and it's almost like a little
like a Ring
security camera,
doorbell.
really, yeah.
Jana had one of those. Jana, she had it on her phone.
Did she?
Yeah, it was hanging up down. So we're talking about down in Florida.
I knew they had the thing out there, but I didn't realize they could see it on their phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the 15-acre farm. So whenever me and
It's 20-something acres.
Scott were down there, and we moved, we moved it because it had fallen or did something, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, and speaking of that, it was her birthday was June the 30th, the same day as Sterling Marlin, Stoney Ballard. I meant to say again, happy birthday, Stoney.
Mm-hmm.
So we got 3
Jana,
birthdays.
all in the same birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. And today is Adam Petty's would have been Adam Petty's birthday. So yeah, he was born in 1980 and passed away in May 12th, 2000, down at New Hampshire from a basal skull fracture from basically the throttle stuck in the car and he hit the turn 3 wall. Yeah, pretty much same thing Kenny Irwin did, not too long before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Kyle post about that today, and Kenny Wallace was commenting. A lot of guys were, paying tribute and stuff. It's a really, really sad deal. Just not only as a, look at him as a race car driver, but just as a normal, just a person, right? So it's you always think, what could he have done? I think he would have done great things. And that, that's a really there's been a lot of tragedy in racing, and that's definitely one that's still tough.
Yeah, definitely is. I got a lot of stories of Adam back in the day, him coming and hanging out in the pit road and talking about different things. And of course I was a jackman for his dad back then. Good kid. Always had a big smile.
Yeah.
And so
that's one of those things. Every time I see a picture of him, he does have that big smile on his face,
Yeah.
So
for sure. And so other things going on. We'll talk about Hickory a little bit. How has the racing been at Hickory?
It's been really good. The racing has been phenomenal. The racetrack is, it's very old. I can't remember the year. We talked about this Saturday night, the last time that the track was paved, but it's old, and so there's a lot of character in it, a lot of bumps and grooves, but that makes it fun. You can watch the cars, especially if some guys put GoPros in their cars, and they'll, show the video after the race and stuff, and they're just bumping around. I mean, it's a rough ride, but as a race fan and somebody, commentating on the race, it gives us a lot to talk about, and it's a lot of fun. Hickory actually celebrated its 73rd birthday this week.
73rd.
Yeah, so it's been around just about as long as NASCAR. NASCAR is about 2 years older. 1951, they held the first race at Hickory on the dirt, and I'm not sure who the winner. We just talked about that. Not sure who the winner of that race was. But so much history has happened there, and it's really cool that we can still go to these places that are 73 years old, and we still have weekly racing. We have this wall outside the racetrack that says, shows all of our track champions from 1951 to 2022, and you've got, the Jarretts, you've got Ralph Earnhardt, the Houstons are on there.
Is Harry Gant?
Harry Gant's on there. Yeah, Harry Gant spent a lot of time there in the 60s, and I guess part of the 70s too. But I think he might have raced on it while it was dirt. It's went through a lot of phases, a lot of changes, but it's still a very good short track.
The car count's been good.
The car counts have been really good, and I think
turnouts.
We do. We got a lot of loyal fans. I've gotten now where I'm used to seeing certain people, and I feel like every week I see new people that are coming and checking us out, but there's also your regulars that get there and watch the end of practice and watch your diehard fans, and those are my favorites to talk to because they just love being at the racetrack like the rest of us.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, we've had a lot of fans. The car counts have been really good. We had 20 limited late models, which is a lot, this Saturday, so they put on a really good race.
So how's your what's coming up next?
Well, this weekend we've got the Southeast Super Truck Series is coming, so that's pretty neat because they've had good car counts too, and they travel around the Southeast obviously, and it's pretty cool. The trucks put on a good show, and they race a little bit different. They have a similar engine to the regular late model, but they race different just because of the body style and the way that their setups are. So they usually run around there pretty quick, so that's a lot of fun to watch. And then we've got our regular weekly stuff, the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series coming up the week after that. And, that's pretty much just, the regular weekly show, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of drama, too, on the racetrack, which is also really good for the fans,
Yeah, that's
So,
always fun.
A little stressful on our track management at times, but and the officials, but they all do a good job, and the fans get a good show. So
Sure, yeah.
yeah,
I guess I've been building just for NASCAR Wheel and Modified Series and some of the Smart Tour cars, and then ARCA, of course. They're all in the NASCAR umbrella, whatever. But apparently we have like half the field out there has our engines. So
yeah,
yeah,
y'all do really good, by the way, from what I understand. In those series.
that's what I hear. I mean, I for some reason I don't.
Well, you have very good odds too. But,
Yes, that's for sure. Yeah,
but your
that
engines
helps.
are really good.
Yeah.
They do a good job.
As long as they stay together and do their job, that's what really matters, right?
Yeah, you need to come. Let's see. I'm trying to look because you mentioned the modifieds. We've already had one modified race. This year we were going to have two.
Because I know the modified race this week. This Ron Silk was I think he won over Bonsignor. Yes, Kyle Bonsignor. Monsignor.
Yeah. I think he's won a couple races this year, right? Had he?
Yeah. Ron Silk's doing great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. All right,
Very
Tracy, you got anything?
Nope.
Nothing at all.
I'm
Nothing
good.
you want to say? You don't want to talk about the metal detecting videos and stuff,
No,
or
I'm good.
travel videos that are on DHammiam now, the YouTubes.
Yeah.
You
That's
can
cool.
see. I just put 3 on yesterday. I
Yeah.
just went ahead and did it. I just like, you know what? Here's the videos. I've been sitting here. I've been dragging my feet on them. Put them out there. They show us down in whenever we went to St. Martin and to St. Bart, some beautiful beaches.
Oh yeah.
And so
You need to watch the one of the ferry ride.
the ferry ride is pretty funny because I was just
He
like,
was soaked.
oh,
He
I
was
was
sick.
I was sweating
Oh,
like
you don't like
just
the boat?
sweating profusely.
Was it the boat?
It was rough.
Or is
Boat.
this, oh really?
On
It
the
was
way there,
heat and the
Are
and the
you,
nausea.
Man, that sucks.
it was a ferry, but it wasn't a ferry.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
Well,
one of those ferries you takes cars and whatever.
Oh.
This was a fast.
This is a fast people ferry.
Yes,
Yeah.
people ferry.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking ferry. I'm thinking you're talking about the one you drive your car up on and it's real wide,
Yeah, I've gotten sick on that too before.
Have you really?
Yeah, just out in the Hatteras, out in that area.
Dude, I hate boats. I love, like the lake is not terrible,
Yeah.
but I will if I spend all day on the lake. When I sit in a normal chair, like you go back to the house, I can still feel a little bit of the wake,
Yeah.
a little bit of the rock.
Sea legs.
Yeah, I get that terrible, but I had the worst experience deep sea fishing, and I assume you don't do that if you get sick on the
No.
ferry. But I tell you what, dude, that was the captain that took us out. It was like a charter, and the guy takes us out, and he's like, "Oh, water's good today. The waves are not that big. It's a really good day, clear weather." And we go out there, dude, and when we're moving, it wasn't that bad. When we stopped, man, it was miserable. And we were out there for, pretty much all day, and I couldn't even reel a fish in. I was so sick.
I think here's the key, I believe, and this has come from Beer Man because I've been out with him in his boat, and it doesn't seem to bother me that much.
Yeah.
As a ginger, he chews on ginger, right? Chews on it.
Yeah.
But you can also get the tablets and then pop them in.
They've got chewing gum and tablets.
Well, and
Yes, ginger.
all kind of stuff.
There's a certain there's like some kind of pill that you can take.
Ginger?
that's-
Dramamine.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, it's not ginger. No, I'm thinking other than ginger. It might be Dramamine. I don't know.
It doesn't make you
Dramamine.
sleepy though. See,
Yeah.
see, Dickie
They have
goes out there on
non-drowsy
the
Dramamine.
James River.
Yeah, but I took like 2 of those, the Dramamine or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
right before I went out,
Okay,
and it was
this
terrible.
made me want to sleep. But
Yeah. Well, they were supposed to be non-drowsy. Anyway, I don't know. But I'm with you. I hate boats. I'm not a big fan of the ferry either, but I guess, rough waters is.
well, here's the deal. That boat was going. It was like, okay, you imagine waves coming at you, and then the boat's hitting, bam, 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 like one after another.
Yeah.
And he's just plowing on through it. The pilot's up. He's an Australian
the
dude,
video
and
and
he's
you'll
like,
see.
Yeah. See, I think I deal better with hitting waves head on and having some bumps than I do rocking side to side. That's what gets me.
Yeah.
Is a side by side
Yeah, it
thing.
was the up and down.
That's what I thought too, but
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
I couldn't handle the other
I
either.
got you. I probably couldn't either. I'm glad I wasn't with you. That
Especially
would've
the
been bad.
stress of thinking about, okay, if this thing cracks in half because we're hitting these waves
Well,
so
you
hard.
were sitting backwards
that adds
too.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was adds to it. That's like the time we went
I
in
can't sit backwards.
we went on a inflatable behind the boat with Tracy's brother, and we're she's like all over
No,
laughing.
not my brother. It was your friend, Dean, Dale,
Oh, Dean. I thought we went with.
Dean Rowell.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, maybe No, because
We haven't ridden with my brother.
Yes,
don't
we
think.
did. Remember, he threw me off.
Oh,
He
okay.
thought it was the funniest thing ever, and I was sitting there hanging on for dear life. I was the only one on it, and he's just flying. I thought, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
When you hit that water too,
We had a
it
life vest
is
He
rough.
he was not giving up, and I
Yeah.
just went, yeah. So, but before that, me and Traci were in there, and this thing's bouncing and bouncing and bouncing.
Yeah, it was rough.
And she's over there laughing and carrying on. I'm holding on super tight. She's like, "You got to loosen up," and she's just like bouncing around like crazy.
Like
And I'm just like,
Jell-O.
I'm holding on
Because you were like tight.
I was tense.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah.
When we
All
went
right. Hey,
on
Jim
your
Dooley.
friends, the first one, when we went
Yes.
the first time, it was actually July 4th weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
When we went to your friends,
Yeah. Okay.
and we were riding on his tube, and
And
we're
what?
bouncing around and I'm laughing my head off at David because he's over there tight as can be. His swim shorts are falling off.
I guess.
He was bouncing so much his
Yeah.
swim trunks were coming off, and he's over there shaking up my guts.
Yeah, my guts were getting shaken up. That's what I told her. So anyway. All right. So yeah, that's about it. Bryson, you got anything?
No, I mean it's been a fun time for racing. I've heard people say, and I haven't really thought to say this back, but we're coming to a time. A lot of people follow baseball, and there's basketball, hockey, football. They're all in their off season right now, and we're coming up on the All-Star break in baseball. And I'm not a big baseball guy, but I'm just kind of you kind of casually watch here and there. And there's like a couple of days. Or like a week or something where you have no sports, and people are like, "Man, we're going to have no sports for a week." And I'm thinking, you got racing.
Yeah.
You got racing
Everywhere.
You got racing all over the country. You got racing Thursday night on ESPN starting this week. You got the Truck Series on Friday night. Saturday is the Xfinity, and then you got the Cup guys on Sunday. So there's 4 straight days your weekend, and we're always open at Hickory Motor Speedway. So if you want to watch live sports, but that's it's a good time for racing, and Atlanta was good. New Hampshire's always fun up there at the Magic Mile, and then they go to Pocono. So it'll be fun. I'm excited.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very good. Oh, I did want to mention too that our good friend Jerry Cook, who's been on the show here before, he just turned 80 last week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Jerry Cook.
He still comes into work too.
Yeah.
He comes in and inspects lifters all day. He'll sit there,
Does he?
well, from about 11:30 or so till about 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
He'll sit there and inspect lifters. Just one
Yeah.
thing. So yeah.
That's good.
Jim Dooley says no yakking for him, only tracking. You know what? I've got a yak. I've got 2. I got one for me, one for Traci, but she will not go in the water. She's not a water person.
I can't swim, so
She don't eat anything out of the water. She doesn't go in the water barely. Yep, she can't swim. So that's that. I'm gonna have to do like I did with my kids. Just throw her in and say,
oh yeah, you'd
And
be
then-
in the big dog house then.
"Oh yeah, I would be." Yeah. So
Throw her
Dickie
in
says,
and let her figure it out.
"That's
Yeah.
right." Yeah. Her dog paddle, and she says, "I can't swim." I'm saying, "Well, you're keeping your head above the water. You're
Yeah,
dog
you're
paddling. That's
swimming.
part of swimming."
Yeah.
I thought he actually cared about me. It doesn't sound like he does right
That
now.
is, it's tough love. It can
Yeah.
be.
It's
Okay.
well, I don't know what the word is. Tough love's a good one.
That is. Dickie says his metal detecting is cool stuff. Yeah. So go on there, my YouTube channel, DHammiam, and check it out. Let me know what you think. And I've started just putting everything on one channel. I have History Ham. I actually posted one on there today, but yeah, I'm trying to keep everything on my one channel, whatever. I guess it's a variety channel now. But the main thing, we got Racing Roots with Ham. And I believe we're going to come back in 2 weeks. We're going to do every other week for this summer.
Yeah, I think so.
Just kind of, we
it'd
got
be better.
such busy times right now. So yeah, we'll see you back here in
Yeah, because we're going to the
Couple
beach.
weeks.
We're going to Daytona.
It'll be gone the following after the 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks from now, and then we'll be gone the next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the first week or the August 31st, and then into the first week of, July 31st, and into the first week of August. So that's it. But thank y'all so much for tuning in, and that one said hi, but I'm gonna show it. Yeah, and we will see y'all back here in a couple weeks, and stay tuned to Racing Roots with Ham, of course,
Oh my God.
to the Facebook page.
I got to give a shout out real quick to Curtis Rector too. He's tuned in on the
Curtis,
radio.
hey Curtis Rector.
Curtis is listening to us.
Good to hear you, man. Good. Thanks for tuning in. And so keep doing your good deal there, Bryson. What's your role out there at Hickory?
Well, I don't know what my official title would be. I guess Kale and I do the broadcast. We provide, he's kind of the play-by-play guy. I guess you could call me a color commentator if you wanted to be real fancy, but really we're just 2 guys that are having fun calling the race. So we do that on Flow Racing. people at Flow are really cool, and Dillner's actually at Flow.
Okay.
So
that's right.
They put on a very professional setup for, you think of Hickory, you don't necessarily think, nothing big and fancy, but Flow really does a great job at producing the broadcast and stuff. So that's what we do.
There you go.
So lots of fun.
All right, and thank y'all for tuning in on the YouTubes and also on the radio 92.9 FM 550 AM, and we'll see y'all back here in a couple of weeks. Have a great week. Be safe.
Freedom House.